and welcome to Subscriber Saturday, but this is not your regular Subscriber Saturday. Of course, today is the 29th of September 2012, but it is the Root Takeover, as you guys can see. Lots of Root guys around me, in front of me, and even behind me, as we got a special guest. So I'm just going to go from right to left, introduce everybody, as we're going to do the Root decision-making show live here from the NASL headquarters, where we're of course going to talk about Heart of the Swarm, where we're going to give our opinions. I'm very curious to see what everybody has to say. Normally Axeltoss is your host, but since Axel is a little far away, he's still with us though. As we can see, there he is. So actually I can just introduce Axeltoss as first guest. Axel, how are you doing, mate?
Pretty good, man. Just trying to make the brightness on my screen go away because I'm too freaking bright.
You're a ghost.
You're too bright. Well, it looks great over there in New York. It looks dark already. It's still very hot and well,
yeah,
bright,
it's
bright over here.
What time is it? 7:15.
Okay. Well, it's awesome that you're going to join us. Of course, Axeltoss normally is the regular host of this show, but yeah, we had to improvise a little bit. And then, of course, from right to left, we have Dan, Root 5. Nice to have you.
Hello.
Hello.
Just adjusting my chair, but I'm almost out of the shot right over here.
On his left is, of course, Andre Gretorp Hengju.
No, it's Root Panda.
Okay, it's Root Panda. Next to the Root Panda, of course, TT1 Payam. Payam, are you recovered from your heavy injuries this morning?
Not yet, not for a month.
Okay, so if you guys were not aware of it, we went paintballing this morning and it went pretty bad for Payam. He was sort of the sitting duck and everybody kept shooting at him. And last but not least, of course, El Capitan. How are you doing?
What's up, dudes? I'm good. How are you, Roddy?
I'm great as well. This is my first time on the show, but it's going to be awesome. So we're just going to run through a lot of stuff. There recently has been a new patch, actually, in Heart of the Swarm. And of course, we're going to have our Heart of the Swarm Root Battle Royale tournament tonight. It's actually going to be the first time that I'm going to see those changes live in action, as I was not able to play. So I'm really excited, and I just say, El Capitan, take it over. And where do we kick things off?
Yeah, Alex actually will be...
Alex, second El Capitan from New York.
Second El
Capitan
from New York.
quick pre-claimer.
I
don't know if that's a word, but I'm using it. Hopefully the brightness is lowered because I just layered my screen with paper to try to make it darker. So Elliot, that was just for you. I don't know anything about Heart of the Storm right now because I've just been doing the MVP preparation and all that. So changes. There was apparently a patch recently and it hit, I don't know when, but the Mothership Core has been changed, the Oracle's been changed, the Widow Mine, the Swarm Host, and a couple bug fixes, including a pretty hilarious one of the Battle Hellions were able to be placed into bunkers, which seems pretty stupid. But yeah, I mean, what do you all want to start with? We can do Protoss, we can do Terran, we can do Zerg.
Let's start with Protoss, I think, because Protoss had the most big changes. Let's say had most changes in general, but also the biggest changes.
Should I just read off the Mothership Core changes? Would that be okay with everyone? There's a lot of changes with the Mothership Core with this recent patch. Purify has been changed. Can now only be cast on your Nexus at max 10 range. Once cast, the Mothership Core will attach itself to the Nexus, transforming into a weapon with range 10. While attached to the Nexus, the Mothership Core will be unable to cast abilities and regenerate energy. The damage of Purify has been lowered to 20 and can attack both air and ground units, and Purify will last until cancel. We can just start with that one. Yeah, that's quite a few changes. I don't know if anyone has had a chance to mess with those changes or have any thoughts on those.
I just played a game actually on ladder, and I'm not really too familiar with everything that they changed yet because I'm actually just reading through it right now. But the game that I just played, it was against a Protoss, and this guy just like flew the Mothership Core all the way around the map, and he was like harassing me with the Mothership Core as if it was like a stalker. And it seemed like it was only doing like 7 damage though, because I was looking at my I had Swarm Host also, and later on in that game, and he kept doing it even then, and he was like flying over them with an Observer in the Mothership Core, and my Swarm Hosts were only taking like 7 damage a shot, so I'm not really sure what that was, but it was attacking the entire time. It was like a flying cannon almost, and it flies pretty fast. It's pretty quick now, it seems like. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's only 8 damage, right?
Oh yeah, it's like I wasn't counting it correctly, but I was doing like less than 10 every shot.
How long does it last?
It looked like it was lasting. It wasn't always attacking me, but every time I moved out, it was always shooting around and flying around my army. And it was seriously almost as fast as like a stalker.
The normal attacks last forever, right? It just auto attacks.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's, I don't know, that could actually be a bit of balance. You could just fly behind someone's mineral line, main base, and just camp it there and attack their drones.
Good.
Yeah, I'm thinking especially if it's like as fast as a stalker. And
yeah, it's really. I don't know if it's quite as fast as a stalker.
As a High Templar.
It's 1.875.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it was
quite
pretty
a
quick.
stalker.
No, that's not quite a stalker.
That can be problematic, though.
Move pretty fast.
Well, like compared to the old one,
If I was
it
a
was
high
like
temper,
on
I
NASL,
definitely would
basically.
move pretty fast.
CatZ, you're slow though.
It still flies,
No,
right?
not Alex.
Yeah, it flies.
I'm just kidding.
Wow, that's
a
pretty
little
imbalanced.
Because
Then.
high templars are all about the
think
psych.
it's still pretty
I think
powerful.
fast. So I would move fast.
I don't know. I think it kind of stinks though for Protoss right now because they have to basically redo all their builds.
Yeah.
Like every single one of their builds now can incorporate this, not only for damage but also for defense. And there's like endless things that you can think of right now. And I feel like it's going to be tough for any Protoss player playing in any Heart of the Swarm tournaments coming up.
I'm curious if. No, I'm curious if one Mothership Core can take out one Queen. Do you think it can?
Who knows, man?
I don't know. It
I mean,
doesn't have a lot of HP though, right?
No, but so doesn't. Probably
I need
not.
a mic change.
Mic change.
Might change 1 2 1 2.
It's more expensive now. It's 100, 100.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Yeah,
Elliot.
it's fine because
Back
Zerg
to
in the early
production.
game doesn't have any anti-air apart from Queen, so it can do a lot of damage.
I would
That was
actually like
Morgan,
to.
by the way. He's the producer of NASL.
Yes, that was Morgan.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to emphasize a little bit on what Axeltoss just said. They brought the Mothership Core back, the cost back to how it originally was. And I really feel that's a small problem for Protoss build orders. Because when it was 50-50, I felt that you could get it pretty early on. But I feel 100 gas for Protoss is still a really big investment.
Yeah.
If you decide to spend 100 gas before you drop a Twilight or before you drop a Robo, that really delays everything else in the game for quite a bit. And
That's right.
I really wonder, like, what is the right moment to right now produce a Mothership Core?
Well, but that makes the game all that much more interesting, I think, because now you have to choose between making a Mothership Core or going another tech, you know?
It's not like it's a bad unit. I mean, it's, you know, like 100, 100. It's a good unit.
On paper, we were reading it yesterday. We thought the changes were horrible, but we weren't taking into account the new speed movement or a bunch of other things that we didn't know back then. So I think we gotta give it some time. I don't think any of us has really played around with it too much, but it certainly sounds a lot better than we thought it was yesterday.
Well, what we spoke about yesterday a little bit, well, we had told on the show as well, and that's one point for the viewers who did not watch us yesterday, is that I still feel the biggest problem is what Mothership Core gave Protoss players, or I won't say us, but us as Protoss players, before the recent changes, is that Protoss was finally able to send small parts of their army out across the map without really committing to an attack, without really having to commit, like, hey, we could actually split our army up in two parts, and if it goes wrong, we can actually recall, kind of like how Zerg is very quick, and how Terran can always afford to drop Marines, because they have plenty of minerals because of the mules. Protoss was always kind of forced to move, to build up that big army and move out. And I really loved just playing around in the beta. I played a lot of Heart of the Swarm beta, as you guys saw as well, before we went into heavy
you can
real life
mention who you
activities
beat.
here.
It's okay.
Have you ever bragged
it's okay
about
to
beating the
mention who you
Maga
beat.
on a tournament? In the tournament? Or real?
No,
Real men
I
don't
just
brag.
did it for you. What?
Real men don't brag, Paulo.
Well,
Roddy's as real as
real
they get.
friends brag for their friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There it
no,
is.
that's not the point. The point is that I was really
No, but that
starting
was
to
a
have
great victory against the Maga.
Wow.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, that
Come
series
on, man.
against
He beat the
Demacia.
Maga.
It was
you beat
almost
someone
as good
else
as when Vi beat
Real. Beat Real.
Kibikaki?
2-0.
Yes.
I already knew that was coming.
But in all seriousness, what I really loved is that finally, as a Protoss player, I had the ability to send out small parts of my army and recall it. And I kind of felt that Protoss finally had that like flair that Zerg and Terran units have. Because a lot of Protoss players, they get criticized for being passive players. For instance, Hazuops or even Zocker from time to time. But it's just I kind of feel, and Todd kind of plays like that now as well, it's just the way that Protoss was designed. And with the old Mothership Core, I finally felt like, yeah, we can do the same stuff as Zerg and Terran. And now I feel they kind of took it away again.
Can I go next?
So to clarify, just to clarify the change that actually happened to Recall, it's now a simple cast and click ability. So as far as I understand, your mothership and everything around it goes back to the Nexus?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So for people at home who didn't necessarily know that, there you go.
Initially, when I saw the patch notes, I thought it was going to be a heavy nerf to the Mothership Core. But now that I think about it more and more,
I don't think it's that bad.
actually, I think it's pretty imbalanced because what's something that Protoss has problem against Zerg in the early game? Overlords. Now you can snipe all the Overlords easily. You can have complete map control. Just fly your Mothership Core around, snipe all the OVs. They can't see anything. Also, but one thing that hurts, I think, and especially Recall, I got nerfed pretty hard, is that once we attacked, we usually, all our Protosses, they put their Mothership Core not like beside their Nexus, but like between, say, like they have 3 bases, they put it between their natural and their third. So like say the attack comes to the third base, you recall your army because there's a cooldown. on when your units can attack. So say now they attack your third base. If you recall your army to your third base, it's hard to engage the army because your army is going to die because you have to wait until the cooldown finishes. So say like before, I would have enough time. I would recall my army back, and then I would wait like a couple of seconds, and then I would engage the army. But now if I recall my army back, it's hard to engage the army because they're just going to, the army's going to get annihilated.
There's one thing I also saw when I played, though. Where I don't know if it was like this with the last recall version of the Mothership Core, but when this guy actually recalled his army from the front of his like gateways that were in front of his nexus back to behind them, but when he did that, his units were like stunned, like they were all like blue as if they were cloaked. It was like that before.
You can't direct recall, I think now. Like it's too risky. You can't direct recall where the army is.
It's like a 4-second lockout or something of the units. Yeah.
So say he's attacking your third, you have to recall back to your natural, as opposed to like the Mothership Core before. Yeah. It's kind of sucks, but we'll live with it, I guess. I think the speed is too good right now. Because just the Overlord sniping, it gives too much map control. But I think they're going to do something.
It is a lot more expensive too.
Yeah, but
so
if you if you nerf the speed, then the whole point of recall is getting useless. Because then it can't keep up with your army. So what do you want to do about it?
It's problematic, I guess, because they have to think about a different mechanic.
So the issue is, do you keep this thing with your army, or do you keep it at home?
No, you keep it with your army.
20, you have
to with this change, but the issue is which is proper for Heart of the Swarm.
You have to keep it with your army.
Yeah, it has to be with your army.
So that's how the game should be designed. The Mothership Core with the army.
No.
I feel not. I rather see the Mothership Core as a unit that stays in my base. And
that's the thing. Like that, I think that's the issue here.
No. I thought we were talking about what it is.
Yeah, current. That's what I thought too. But like in general,
I meant,
design from a design.
Obviously, Blizzard is trying to find that out too. Like, where is the proper place for this?
It's probably just like tempo with the game. Like, if you're aggressive, keep it with your army, and if you're defensive, you can just.
No. What they mean is like, what do you prefer the new? Because it's basically 2 new units. I think that's where the question's headed, right? Like, which unit is better or more suitable to the race?
It's a funny thing because now because they just there's a new mechanic. They added a new mechanic to the game, which is the Mothership Core, that allows you to recall your army back. But by doing that, I think the movement speed is way too strong to snipe overlords and stuff like that. It just takes a cybernetic score, even though it's much more expensive. It's 50-50. Yeah. So it's basically like almost 2-3 free overlord snipes in the early game. And I think that's
Zerg Scout.
Yeah, and that's pretty big, I think.
Blizzard doesn't really like give a direct reason of why they are changing stuff. I think they really should, because there are sometimes better ways to fix the same problem.
I think PvZ is actually going to be really, really good with this patch. I mean, I don't think you can question it. You have no 6, 7, 8 minute Overlord Scouts anymore. You have to wait until Overseer when that happens, and by that time, a lot of times Protoss already chose their tech. And if you're reacting pretty late to that, it's...
is the build time the same on the Mothership Core?
Probably.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Well, that's pretty fast.
Which is really fast, especially with Chrono Boost. So
I guess you got to sack it like a lot earlier.
Did you guys have this as well? A few times when I was playing Heart of the Swarm Beta and my Mothership Core popped, like for a split second I always thought there was a Nidus going up, because like this sound is kind of like explosive. It's like, already? It's like, I have nothing. It scared me, man.
But I do want to mention one thing real quick, because there was a little bit of confusion with the Purify and the Repulsor Cannon. The Purify is the one that deals 20 damage and attaches to a Nexus. Yes. Now, they have a new attack, just a regular attack animation, which does 8 damage. That's why it only did 7 to your, what was it?
The Swarm Host?
The Swarm Host, yeah. They have 1 natural armor. So that's what we were referring to, by the way. The natural attack that they have is really powerful, especially the fact that it could attack air and ground. No, it can attack air.
Yeah, it can attack. I think we can all agree that...
No, it doesn't. Look, Repulsor Cannon deals 8 damage to ground units.
Oh, to ground units.
Only ground units.
Okay.
So we're theory crafting the wrong thing.
So, 10 minutes you'll never get back, guys.
Blizzard, at least Blizzard, now we know Blizzard knows their stuff.
Yeah. But you know what? It's still problems like Cloud Kingdom. It gives you high ground vision. So it's not like you're going to get your Overlord into that natural area. Yeah. It could still be Stargate or Robo in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's TT1's fault. He's the one who suggested it.
Yes, so. TT1.
Stupid. I agree.
That's why I got shot this morning.
Yeah, but
I was theorizing.
My brain understands the things that are unbalanced, And just by reading this, we can understand that, you know, Blizzard, they know their stuff. They knew it was going to be problematic, so it just attacks ground, which I think is the correct thing.
Yes, I do too.
What's the range on the repulsor cannon? Does anyone know?
When I was playing, it seemed like it was like 6-ish, 6 or 7.
So
I don't think it's like 10 how it used to be. But
it's impossible for it to. I don't think it would be balanced if it outranged a bunker.
I agree.
So I think it should probably be.
Even if it did, though, like it doesn't attack super fast, so I think there's very few instances where it would actually do significant damage. Like maybe if it was on a certain map where it was out of position to be attacked, and it was hitting like a mineral line, and then you had to really like. It would like 5-shot workers or 6-shot workers or whatever. That would be kind of problematic. But like other than that, in terms of like buildings or units, I think it'll take forever to kill.
Do you think
that kind of stuff.
Just real quick? Do you think PVT like a mortal all in off of one base is going to be like really powerful now? Because now I can actually threaten. Oh no, I can't recall into the base. Never mind.
Maybe like 4-gate with
well,
the
here's a big issue. I mean, a big part of PVT or PVZ in general, or mainly PVT, when you're like engaging into your opponent's natural expansion, you're like, all right, should I back up? Should I keep going? At what point are you overextending? Now there's no elements of that anymore. If you have a mothership core with it, you can just recall if you feel like you're.
Okay, so if I'm going to start engagement on a mothership core, that's my number one priority.
Yeah, if you have a bunch of
But you can keep the mothership core back, so you're poking up the ramp with the stalkers and sentries or the zealots. And like a big part of PvT is those Protoss players who overextend just a little bit, and then they lose like 2 or 3 sentries, and all of a sudden their opponent has great counterattack opportunity or whatever. But is there really that element anymore, considering you can just recall if you're feeling like things aren't going your way?
But
and
I actually think
you don't have to run anymore, because a Terran, like they used to have to pursue you across the map. Now, like, there's no element of running away. You can just recall back.
Yeah, but that was the same thing in the previous patches. So
and that was even better. I think in the previous patches it was much better, because you actually didn't have to worry about the mothership core.
Yeah, but like if you compare it to, for example, Wings of Liberty, like you don't have a mothership core with your army. Like you were saying if they have corruptors and stuff. Well, if I have corruptors shooting your mothership core, that's a lot of wasted DPS that I'm not getting on your Colossi.
It's not that much. It dies pretty quick.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I'm pretty sure you could kill a bunch of corruptors. If I have enough corruptors to kill
I mean, this is all theory. It depends how you engage, depends on the situation. But as Payam said, like, it was the same before. It was just that nice feeling for Pro Tools that you can actually just like kind of do it with small armies. Right now you can't do it with a small army anymore, because then if you lose it, you're going to lose everything. And when the mothership core is in your base, you kind of had the safety of this can never go wrong.
I like the dynamic it adds, because now there's like very oriented builds that you can do. Because the cost is much not much more expensive, but I think now, like, say you want to do like a gateway pressure style, then you're going to add the mothership core in your army. You're going to get a bit faster, then you could pressure it, and you can recall back. Say you want to play more passive, you get a bit later. So it adds new dynamics, it adds new builds, which I think is pretty good for the game.
If I can ask you, Payam, right now, imagine we're not talking PvZ, we're talking PvP. What do you think, if you look at these changes, if you look at how much it costs, when will you decide to get a mothership core?
It's very hard. Probably not early on.
Not before 16 probes and minerals and double gas?
Double gas? I don't know, honestly. I have to test it.
It's probably as you're you're going to line it up with your natural. And that way you can actually defend with 20 shot cannon.
Because before, when you 1-gate export, you could make a mothership core and you could have defended it. But now, like, if you make, it's 100 gas, so that's like 2 stalkers. So no map control.
Or a robo.
Yeah, or a robo. So I don't know. It can be very problematic. I have no idea. I have to test it out. These are the things that you need to test out. Like, I have no idea of the timings and stuff like that, but it's a good point. I think it's going to be much more later than it used to be.
Last but not least, I would like to add that I'm happy that they are at least changing Purify, though, because Purify in its previous form was ridiculous. That 45 damage and that attack speed, that was absolute nonsense. Like, it kind of shut down all options for Terran. Let's say, like, they're all 2 racks openings. Let's say Reactor, Tech Lab. Like, if there's a mothership core who one-shots Marines, I mean, that's ridiculous. So silly. I am happy that they changed it.
I think it's stronger now, Roddy. You don't think?
Maybe if you put it on the Nexus, but that's different already, because that means that there's already a natural and stuff, and it costs more money. Like, in the previous patch, it was just too strong. Purify was too strong.
Yeah, the attack itself was too strong. But say, like, the thing was, say you purify it, it was too strong, say, like, against 2 racks pressure.
Yeah.
You purify it, then he loses so many units, and then his rush is completely stopped. But now I think, like, say, against double medevac timings, it's much more stronger. Because you stick it onto the Nexus, it lasts way longer, and it completely shuts down their attack.
Of course, but that's a whole different phase of the game already.
Yeah, I think early on it's much weaker against rushes like that,
Yeah.
but as the game goes on, it could be better.
Which I think is good for PvP as well, because if people want to be aggressive with, let's say, 2-3 Stalkers, I mean, that Mothership Core could have killed 4 Stalkers alone with the
Yeah.
damage it had. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that change at least.
Okay.
What's
So,
the attack speed of the Purify?
It's a bit fast.
Is it really fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very fast.
Yeah, it's still. It was 1.5 before, and I think, and then it's. I don't know. I'm like not
It's
exact
still
on these numbers,
ridiculously
but it's
good.
still pretty fast.
Okay.
It doesn't say it in the notes.
Yeah,
I guess it's unchanged.
Because I just played one game. That's like I said, and it was shooting just as fast as it was before. It looked like. So.
Yeah, but at
it's
least it
insane
does
then.
25 less damage.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's quite a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
there's
should
drops.
we move to the Oracle or?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Oracle health has been increased from 2080 to 60-100. Speed has decreased from 3.75 to 3.375.
Yeah.
The duration of Entomb has increased from 30 to 45.
Big buff, I think.
Yeah, very, very
They
big buff.
keep buffing this unit, man.
Also, I mean, I'm not sure if the buff of Entombed was necessary, but I said literally since day one of the beta, since the very first night I streamed Heart of the Swarm here at the office, I said that they're gonna buff the HP of Oracle because it's just ridiculous. Like,
Especially now with the new ability, it's can integrate it into your army composition. So now it's like much more versatile.
I mean, it really needed an HP buff. Like that was
I agree.
Oh, yeah,
without a
it's
joke. It died way too quick. If there was one Spore Crawler, it couldn't even pass it by. It couldn't take a single shot. Even 2 Queens, like from natural to main, 2 Queens with a couple of shots would have already taken it down. So I think that's a good buff.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, is there like an optimal? Has an optimal way been figured out to deal with Entombed? Is it still just attack with your workers, or do you leave units back?
Good multitask.
I would say just in the beginning of the game when you're setting up maybe on like 3 bases, just if you know they open up Stargate, like for instance if you're Zerg, just spread your army out a little bit between your bases. Don't just have your army in one big clump, because you know if you went Stargate you're not going to be getting like a huge round of like Immortals and Gateway units anyways, so you don't have to worry about that necessarily.
That's if you make any units, though, then. Like if you
Well,
scout
you don't
the
even need to
Stargate
make a lot though. Like you can make like 10 lings or like 20 lings, which is not that much, and then you can put like 6 or 8 between all your bases, and then those lings plus a queen can knock out the Entombs pretty fast. But
still, that it's gonna be so powerful. Like Stargate into 4-gate with Mothership Core.
Yeah.
Like that's because you have to spread out everything out. The 4-gate puts all your units in one position, then powers into.
You mean like a 1 base?
No, 2
No,
base, standard 2 base.
Well, how much energy?
And then you just recall.
How much, like,
because-
if an Oracle like wants to lock, if you have, let's say, one Oracle and it wants to lock down mineral lines, how much energy does it have, and how many times can it do it?
Most of the time you will
It's
use
75,
Energize.
isn't
Yeah, it's
75 now?
Yeah.
What? No, it's still the same. It costs 100 energy to
Yeah.
use Entombed.
Oh,
And
okay.
it spawns with 75 or with 50, I think. 50, but most of the time you're going to use your Mothership Core to energize the Oracle, so you immediately have 2 Entombs.
Yeah.
Now you don't need to bring it back anymore
I take
because
it
of the
back.
movement speed. You just put it next to your Oracle. For the noobs that don't have a lot of APM, just
and then
stand behind them.
And then a couple of links who are attacking like the Entomb minerals, they get shot down by the by the Mothership Core as well.
Dude,
Wow,
Sick.
dude, sick. Next level maneuver.
vibe, you're done for, bro.
It's okay. Just put a spine collar down. You got it.
No, I
What's
was
the
wrong.
Phoenix?
That
Phoenix speed?
I'm
Can
sorry.
it still keep up with the Phoenix?
It couldn't before either, but I think
Could not?
no, it couldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
I think a
Phoenix is quickest unit in the game.
Yeah.
I think a Phoenix is like 3.8 or something.
Yeah,
But it's still very fast. I don't think that's a big nerf at all. I mean, 3.375 is still very good.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
this
still really fast.
this is a buff for the noobs like me, man. You just have it in your army now. You 1A doesn't go way ahead of your army.
Yeah.
So it's like the Infestor. You remember when they nerfed
It's a
the
first world
speed?
problem.
When they nerfed the speed, now it's like you attack with your army. It just stays with your army. I think it's about the same thing right now, but it's still pretty fast, so you have to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they buffed it so much, actually.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a pretty huge buff actually, especially with the Mothership Core of speed.
And the spell, the you can't do anything to my army spell. That's
yeah, that's really good. Thank you, Grubby.
yeah. Thank you, Robbie.
So let me get this straight. Like Protoss, playstyle is going to change pretty dramatically since the
I think
last
so,
patch.
yeah.
But you think overall it's a huge buff to Protoss? With
Huge buff, huge nerf to recall.
So
Huge nerf to recall.
I don't
but
think Protoss
everything-
necessarily got stronger. I feel Oracle got stronger. Mothership Core will be situational. I mean, every now and then it will be better. But in general, I do still think that it's a nerf on Mothership Core, obviously.
I think it gives more options and diversity.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it's
Yeah.
different, and I think like it makes for a more interesting game because before you could get the Mothership Core and you could your game plan wouldn't change at all. Now at least when you get a mothership core, I'll know that you have a plan with a mothership core.
There's a lot of
makes
stuff.
scouting more relevant.
There's a lot of stuff that you can worry about. Like even the thing that we just talked about is actually seriously really good.
Yeah.
Like you put it behind the mineral line, me and Roddy are gonna abuse out of
It
that.
could be good, yeah.
And also think about this, like the force field on a ramp, you bring it with your Warp Prism, energize the sentry, you have 200 energy on your sentry, just force field around
Because
nonstop.
it's much quicker. You
Yeah.
can
Sick cheese.
Sick cheese.
Sick cheese.
Get ready, bro.
That's how TT1's brain works. Reads patch logs. How can I abuse this?
Yeah, there's a lot of options now, I think. I like it a lot. But recall, I'm pretty sad about it, but it's fine, I guess.
All right, should we go Terran? There's only one change from Terran.
Yeah.
The Widow Mine. The duration of activate mine
Okay, wait.
has
What's
been
so wrong with recall now? I don't get it. So you have to have the unit with your army, but it's as fast as your army now.
It's
So
I
not-
can't
no, that's
recall
not-
anywhere to the
it's
map.
not
It
really
has to be
true,
to a
but
nexus.
But you can recall to
No.
your next side, to your nexus. That's normally where you would
No,
have the
CatZ.
mothership core
No.
anyways.
Cats,
I
just
don't
think
have
that's really not true. For instance, in the previous patch, you have your mothership core sitting in your natural. You send out 12 blink stalkers. You just blink behind enemy lines. You blink behind the mineral line. You kill as many drones as possible, and you blink away, and you recall it out. Do you really think that you will be able to get all the way behind the mineral line with a mothership core floating, keeping up with blink stalkers? That's never going to happen.
I mean, it would if you have two different unit control groups and the mothership core just meets up with your blink stalkers at the end.
Yeah, but
That's that's really, really strong for Blink Stalkers to be able to do that. And I think that's a nightmare for map makers actually, to actually balance something like that. So you just can't blink everywhere and then recall all of a sudden, right? Because I can invest all my army into just Blink Stalkers and do that stuff, and knowing that I have an exit plan. I think that's like a huge headache for map makers, and it's going to like bring in a lot
To
of
be honest,
uninspiring play.
I'm even happier now. I don't even need to make an observer anymore. I just have the mothership core for high ground vision. Put it in my army, blink up the guy's face.
Yeah, there
I
you
don't
go.
need to meet a
so it
robo
made Blink
anymore.
stronger in
But
some ways.
the only thing I feel is weaker is you recall directly to a nexus. I don't like that. With the mothership core, I recall like behind the nexus a bit because there's the cooldown. It's really important. People forget about that. And then I attack the army. But now if I recall to the next, I have to recall to a nexus behind it, so I'm just gonna lose one base.
That's if there's like a counterattack, right?
Yeah, only in counterattack situations. But say like I harassed, it's fine, same thing as before. But if I'm getting counterattacked, I have to like
I mean, you could
one
always
base
warp
is
in.
gonna die
you
for
could
sure.
always do like one warp in of sentries, force field,
Yeah.
and recall. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's basically saying like, would you rather flank with a pure roach army, or would you rather flank with a pure roach army and one unrooted spore crawler who has to keep up with your roaches?
spore crawler that flies and is as faster. As
No,
fast
spore
as my
crawler, an
roaches.
unrooted spore crawler is as fast as the mothership core now. So just imagine the speed that a pure roach army gives you, which is kind of the speed that a blink stalker army gives you. But now suddenly you have to worry about this one spore crawler who has to keep up. Don't you feel that slows your attacks down by so much? And that's the
Okay,
problem.
let's say is it how fast is the mothership core?
it's faster than a
1.8.
stalker, I think.
No,
oh no, it's slower.
it's
Yeah,
much
that's
slower.
about-
You
yeah.
said it was as
One-
fast as a High
yeah.
Templar.
Oh yeah.
As fast as High
1.875.
Templar.
Yeah, it's as fast as an unrooted
So it's
spore
like-
crawler.
I mean,
like
it
one
flies.
speed.
It's not. It's obviously not a rooted spore crawler. It's it's an overlord.
No, but you
It's
understand.
only, it's only one speed slower than a Stalker, basically.
What's the channeling time for the
yeah,
mothership?
so it's not.
What do you
It's
mean?
not
because
terrible.
terrible.
I was just
No,
thinking.
but you understand what I mean, no?
Huh?
Wouldn't you rather have just like a really quick roach army and be able to recall it out, or
like
have a really
the
quick
time
roach
when
army,
you
but
say
that has
recall
to be
and then it like
slowed
goes
down
into
because
that
that's
Yeah,
the
but
same
you're
as
not
the
taking
units?
everything. Like for example, Payam said like the
3-4
mothership
seconds.
core
3-4
can
seconds.
also give you high ground vision.
You
Like,
can
you don't need an observer. Like does that not make Blink easier in some ways?
You can still
No,
do.
that
In a
was not
few
my
situations, yes, and a few
What
situations.
do you mean? So
no.
your point is just to see the negative, and like I mean, you can't just.
I mean, obviously it gives you some good things as well, but I'm just saying that my point was, whereas before you could really rambo in with units and recall them out, you can't do that right
You
now.
still can to a point though. Like and obviously you can't do that with only Blink Stalker, but that's not the only unit that you can attack with. Like you can, if you're attacking a Zerg and let's say he's doesn't want to engage your sentries because he knows he's going to get half his army force field locked, you can do something creative like if he falls back to his natural, lock him in his natural, go in his main, and then just like do something there with sentries, or just it doesn't always have to be the main, but you can do something creative with sentries, which will like a sentry and the new core will be about the same speed, so your army is going to be pretty well like organized together. It's not really going to like disperse all over the place.
No, I'm not thinking about like the big army. I'm more thinking
But
about
like it could be an early like attack too. It could be like sub 80 supply. You could send out like a 4-gate pressure off 2 base, and then do like a nice mothership core attack, and then recall back, and then follow it up with some tech or something.
Last but not least, like for instance, when I played against Rio, I played on this 2-play map on the brown map. He did something really cool, I think. He had a lot of blink stalkers in the middle of the map, and he attacked my third, or it could be fourth base on the right side, and I kind of got brought out of position. In the meantime, a Warp Prism flew in, and he warped in a ton of charge loads in my main base, took out the infrastructure. By the time I scattered Blink Stalkers away, I came back to deal with the charge loads, and he just recalled them out.
Also,
like, that's kind of that's kind of
cool.
stuff.
One
cool,
thing
and you
that
can't really do that.
But you could have the mothership core with it. It just takes like more planning and stuff. Or like if you want to go a certain route with your Blink Stalkers, you can have it meet. Like because there's always airspace and stuff.
Really quick. I'm actually really wondering if there's the ability to interrupt the mothership, because it is like Payam was saying 3 to 4 seconds until your units actually come out. What if I like
killed it,
neural parasite it,
or killed it? I mean, that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good if you were able to.
Yeah.
Also, one nerf that we didn't talk about. The mothership
it's not a very strong unit. Like if you were to kill it and then interrupted the recall, if there's a delay of 4 seconds, that would be ridiculously bad.
Yeah. I agree.
One last thing that we're going to talk about. Before, Mothership Core had 100. It was 100 energy to recall back. Now, even though that's 100 energy, before you could recall twice. Now you can only recall once because it has to be in your army. So when it's back to your Nexus, you can recall any army again. So you can do double multi-pronged attacks and recall 2 armies back. That's one thing that we forgot to mention.
And dude, honestly, that kind of stuff is
annoying.
Overpowered.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
But I liked
it's
it.
that I don't.
Hey, can we just be overpowered for one time in 3 years? Come on, guys.
It's really strong. Yeah. I mean,
now it was too strong, but I'm just not sure. Like
I want it back.
Now we only have one recall.
I mean, that's what we're saying here.
Yeah.
It was too strong, but
But it was awesome.
It
was good for as long as it lasted.
Like Warhouse.
I won a lot of games on ladder.
Like
that's all that matters.
All right, guys. We're gonna go to a commercial break, and when we get back, some more Heart of the Storm. We obviously spend a lot of time on the Mothership Core because that's the most changed unit, I think. So when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about the Oracle, Terran, and Cert.
Alright guys, welcome back to the NASL Subscribers Saturday, which is the Root takeover today, as all the Root guys are with us. A couple of guys are on a small break though, but with me are still Dan, Sherlong, Vibe, and Payam,
Togyan,
TT1, and I'm sure that CatZ and Axeltoss will be back soon. Of course, same can be said for Gretorp. So guys, we're just gonna have to hold down the fort for a little bit.
We will.
Is there still anything else you want to say?
I think
we pretty much touched down on every...
on Mothership Core and Oracle, we covered all the bases, I think.
I want to point out one more thing maybe which we did not mention. Like, they say like, oh yeah, it's hard to snipe and try a lot, but in some situations you don't really have to snipe the mothership core. What if you would feedback it or EMP? You know?
Yeah.
Energize it. And
Late
get
game
out.
is way.
Yeah, you still need some mana to do it.
Late game, it's gonna be way riskier.
I mean, it's gonna give a lot of cool scenarios where a Terran player is gonna try to EMP the mothership core, for instance.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I mean, it's gonna provide a lot of cool, interesting scenarios. And whether it got worse or better, it's hard to judge right now. One thing is for sure, recall got nerfed, but I guess that kind of had to be done.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Welcome back, Gretorp.
It's good to have you back.
And welcome back, Exo, as well. Can you hear us, Exo?
Yes. How you guys doing?
All right, bro. Is there anything you really want to share regarding the mothership core?
I'm just wondering how many more times it's going to be changed before the final deal, because they're changing it literally there's so many changes that have happened. Like, I feel like, is this going to be a waste of a conversation? Like, I don't even know.
That's what Sabet is for, dude.
It's a very likely possibility that this is indeed going to be a waste of conversation, because in 2 or 3 weeks it will probably be at least a little bit different. But it's just a big unit. It's a unit which really decides a lot early on how does Protoss open, and then in what way are you going to use it. And it's kind of weird because it's a unit that's important early game, but recall is something that's useful throughout the entire game. So I guess it's just it's hard to balance a unit with so many abilities.
And I really like the fact that Blizzard is being aggressive, and they're not afraid to make changes, even though they think something's different. They're not going to wait like 1 month, 2 months testing.
And honestly, collaboration is going to be the most important way to expedite the process, because if we're just like mass laddering, you're going to find out all these little intricacies a little bit slower normally. So I think this is healthy.
Yeah.
Especially me and TT1 talking about strategy together.
Yeah.
Because
we're geniuses.
I have no idea where to take this. Axel, take it away. Next up.
I think we got Terran, right? I think that's what we got next. The Widow Mine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that.
Little change. The duration of activate mine has been decreased to 2 seconds. Autocast can now be turned off in both activated and deactivated modes. So nothing huge there, in my opinion. It makes it a little bit more effective.
Yeah, I would say Gretorp, you have the most Terran experience out of all of us.
I think these are pretty cosmetic, right?
I don't understand.
I don't understand the first one.
The way I see it is, like it takes a while for it to do its animation, for it to actually hit.
Yeah.
Maybe it 2 seconds. It hits 2 seconds faster than originally. I don't know.
Before, I think it was 3, I guess, before.
Yeah, before it was pretty ridiculously slow on the time it would take for it to go off, because like you could actually run units over it, and if you're running into an army as well, the mines would actually not even activate if the units like were killed on it, I guess. I didn't really experience it, or I guess what I'm trying to say is it seems good and bad at the same time, because in the situation that I'm talking about right there, where I have like Zerglings running it like Hellions or Marines, and he's got Widow Mines planted there offensively, it's actually good that it had a long activation time, because if the units are going to die anyways, it's actually good that you don't waste the mines with it. But then, yeah, like it could now, with the way it is now, it could actually be kind of bad if you use them aggressively, because if you're going to kill units anyways, let's say you have like 10 Lings running at like 10 Hellions, and you have 2 Widow Mines burrowed between the 2 sets of units, now the mines are just going to go off automatically when the Lings would have died regardless. So I would say it's a nerf it's in some ways a nerf to the mine aggressively, but it's definitely a buff defensively.
I think it's also a buff because it's just a second less that they have to kill it. I mean, there are situations where you will actually engage against a mine. I've actually had it a couple of times with Marines. Even they get into range for some reason or another. Of course, it's the same range. Excuse me, it's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, my Marines are dead, or excuse me, the opposite.
Yeah.
My Marines aren't dead. They were able to kill the mines fast enough, and I thought that was a problem, definitely. So it is a buff in that sense. I guess it's matchup dependent.
Yeah.
So like versus Terran versus Protoss, it's a small buff. Versus Zerg, it's a small nerf.
For aggressively, but I think it's still definitely a buff defensively.
No matter what, I think Widow Mines, I've been saying this for a while, it's so freaking difficult to actually balance these units. Because it's like you're balancing a purchasable Hunter-Seeker missile at mid-game.
Yeah.
It's really, really powerful.
Have you guys seen the little videos of Millennium Dragon, who's been playing?
Yes, I was just about to say that. No. He was using them aggressively with Reapers.
Yeah, not just that, but also defensively in sniping medevacs, sniping Banshees when they were coming in. It's so awesome. If you guys haven't seen it yet, actually that's exactly what he said. So awesome. You guys should really check that out on YouTube. Just search on Millennium Dragon and then Spider Mines, because it was so awesome. He's like, look, Banshee. He's like, boom, so awesome. And then Medevac came in,
man.
so awesome. And it
It's
was
a good unit.
Yeah, it's a really cool video. So I think there's still a lot of hidden potential with these units.
And you just think of someone like Flash that has so much freaking map awareness. You will not be able to do anything to him.
Positional players like Flash.
Yeah, positional players.
Yeah.
Will just dominate.
Yeah, mines are all about
Completely.
position, man. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the way that they achieve balance with them, because they take so long to burrow that to use them offensively, it's really hard. You got to play a really good trick on them. That's why perhaps Dragon uses Reapers so much, because with the Reapers you can pull them off position and then plant the mine somewhere else. But if you're just attacking and trying to burrow the mines, well, they can just back off or kill the mines, and they're cheap, but they're not that cheap. So, yeah, I agree. It's all
okay.
positional.
They should just bring back the radiation. That's cool.
You're from Vessels?
The shredder.
Oh.
I think it was so silly.
Yeah, why did they take that out?
Oh yeah, that like little field or whatever.
Yeah, that was so silly.
Who wants to beat up Andre?
Yeah, and the Warhound. They should bring the Warhound.
Yeah, they should bring back the
Oh,
Warhound
the
too.
Warhound.
Warhound shredder. That's all you have to go every game.
Yeah.
I'd say, I mean, there's not too much we can really say about this, as these were kind of minor changes. So I'd say, Axel, let's move on to the next topic.
All right, it would be the Zerg race. Of course, we've just done Protoss and Terran. The Swarm Host Locust attack range has been increased from 2 to 3. The damage has been reduced from 14 to 12. And I think the last change with them was the attack range was decreased from 3 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they just went back to 3, but they made the damage a little bit less.
Yeah, even like right now though, the Swarm Host, like with all these damage nerfs, they're still doing identical damage to Hydralisks now though, because the attack speed on a Locust and a Hydra is exactly the same, and then now the damage is exactly the same. But on a Swarm Host, you get 2 Locust instead of just the 1 Hydra, so you're actually doubling a Hydralisk damage if you're able to get in range, which was the big thing before. So I definitely think, even though the damage got nerfed a little bit, the range buff pretty much like makes this unit back to be really viable again, I'd say, because the 2 range, that's 2 and 3 range seems like the cutoff point, where 2 range makes the unit a little bit. It doesn't really get its cost effectiveness, I feel, because the units don't really accomplish much. They just die before they get there, and they get AoE down really hard because they all funnel into an area and none of them can really attack. But with the 3 range, that I feel like that's kind of a cutoff where it's able to be effective enough now to actually be worth its weight in supply and money. I think the damage might need to be nerfed a little bit more still, though.
Yeah, I was exactly about to say the same thing about the damage. I mean, they started with 16 damage, which was a little bit too strong, obviously. 16 damage, and then when there's 16, there's something that Slush actually brought up, like whenever a unit is 16 damage, they get +2 +2 per upgrade. So yeah, it was absolutely way too good. Then they tried nerfing it to 14, and that still was too good. Then they nerfed the range, and I feel like it was too bad.
Terrible, yeah.
And now I think it's good to the point where it might still be too good. So we'll see. But I think nerfing the damage is the right way to go. Nerfing the range just makes it completely useless because it can never get anywhere.
Yeah, it's too easy to micro against when you nerf the range.
Yeah.
I think maybe like something between 8 and 10 is probably the right way to go with this unit.
If they wanted to try to nerf the range again, they would have to give it more HP, like a lot more HP, for it to be anywhat useful.
Yeah.
But that would make it like unkillable for any other unit than Colossus. So I guess that's not really an option. It would be a bad option. I mean, still the counter to Warhounds, to Locust, it's still always going to be AoE and especially like long ranged units. But
or Phoenix.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Phoenix Oracle.
one base Swarm Host would be incredible if they just buff the.
And honestly, I think Stargate is the tech of choice right now in Heart of the Swarm.
Sure.
I think it's probably the most. It has the most utility just because of Phoenix is still being really powerful. The defensive option with Mothership Core now. A lot of times, I mean, this day and age, we don't really see a lot of Roach all-ins off of 2-base. But if it ever comes back in, I think it can actually punish a lot of these Stargate openers that are just opening 4 or 5 Phoenixes into a 3rd Nexus in Robo.
Yeah, the only thing I was a little bit worried about when we were talking about Mothership Core before is like if you want to open Oracle and you want to go like really gritty, that kind of means that you're going to have to skip sentries. You might get one, but if you have to spend 100 energy, 100 gas on the mothership core, and then 100 or 150 on Stargate, and then 150 on Oracle, like you have to cut in defenses a lot. So you have to be really active with your scouting, because if you don't scout 6 to 8 roaches,
and that's gonna mean that when you go mothership core, you're not gonna be able to tech as fast, or you're just gonna die to the roaches.
But you also have a 2,000 hit point cannon.
Yeah.
That's and true, you can put, you no longer have to take a choke. You can always actually choke off at your Nexus because it's 10 range. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. Stargate play is much more viable. I think that's what Blizzard was aiming for. Heart of the Storm, especially with all the new units added. They were Stargate focused. And I think right now with the mothership core buff, it makes it much more viable to open Phoenixes, because what was the problem before? One base Swarm hosts are really strong if you open Phoenix. But now, say you go one base Storm hosts, you have your Phoenixes, you can use your Oracle for Revelation, you can pick them off. So it's very versatile, especially with the mothership core, like I was saying. You could just put it behind a mineral line, it's going to do a lot of economic damage, and then you could bring it back to defend all-ins. So I think Stargate play is probably going to be a lot more stronger in Dispatch.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the dominant thing. There's no reation to do anything else, because you can still have a lot of anonymity behind.
Well, for diversity, diversity's sake,
I think if
Biome is like, hey, there's always a reason to go 7 gate, guys. Come on.
There's always a reason to go 2 base Immortal.
But the fact of the matter is,
was still very strong. War person play is incredibly strong. For example, against Storm hosts. You know, like whenever you have a Zerg with a lot of Storm hosts allocated in a certain position, like, you know, if they don't have a lot, then go kill them. If they have too many, then go counterattack. I think War Prism is going to be incredibly strong as well. So yeah, I think it opens up for a lot of options for Protoss, and you know, the mothership core, whether it's you know, not as good as it was the previous patch, I think it makes up for great exciting games. You know, great. You know, this
more creativity,
clutch games where, you know, it's like, oh, everything got, you know, stuck. Oh, but the mothership core pops out of nowhere, and you know, I think it just
army out of position, gets EMP'd, can't recall anymore.
I also think you're gonna see really a lot of like characterized player styles, you know, like, because there are so many options right now for Protoss when to go for that mothership core or how you want to open up. So a lot of players are really gonna have their distinctive own style, and that's kind of cool as well, that you don't really throw all the Protoss players together anymore, and it's like, oh, Blink Stalker this, Colossus that. You're really gonna see like the variance between all player styles, and that's gonna be really cool.
I feel really bad for Terran, to be honest. It feels like they're focusing a lot on Protoss. And
that's good. I hope that's their plan. I hope their plan is to go with
Protoss, Terran, and just take it one step at a time.
It was to the point, though, where we all knew Wings of Liberty, like, Terran was really well done. Like, you could use every single unit except maybe the Reaper.
Point,
I mean, at times you could use the Reaper, but you can use every single unit. That's a luxury that I think a lot of Terrans have had that we don't realize.
But what answer do they have to Fungal? Now we have Face Shield. What does Terran have?
And I guess Terran is also the only race which always had like 2 real choices between like 2 massive threats, like either Bio or Mech. And they had so many harass possibilities with Banshees, with Hellions.
You know,
and I guess that's what you mean with well-designed race.
Yeah. And to answer your question, I still think Ghosts are underused in that matchup, even though it's like tricky. And it is a lot of gas, but I mean, it feels so silly just using Thor Viking against Broodlord,
I agree as well.
Infester.
Just 1 fungal, 2 fungals.
Yeah, it feels so silly, and it's just like one single EMP will actually be so detrimental.
But that's the problem. Like, by doing like a ghost style, you're focusing on your opponent. So say you're playing a bad opponent, he's gonna have all his infestors clumped up, and your EMP is gonna do a lot of damage. But say you're gonna go ghost, then it's gonna be more harder for you to deal with Broodlords. And if they split their infestors well, then your army is going to be much more.
I mean, if there's 3 or 4, though, I don't think that's a big deal. Honestly, even though it's only 25 damage for snipes, I don't think that's terribly bad.
Problem is getting in range.
You can still burst.
Yeah.
You can. I mean,
I agree.
There's still options. I feel like as soon as the ghost was changed from 50 damage to 25 damage, or 45 damage to 25 damage for snipe, people are just like, well, they're completely useless. I still think. Yes, it kind of stinks, but there's still some utility with snipe and EMP.
That nerf was kind of crazy, by the way, now you think about it. It's like, let's go from 45 to 25. It's like, wow, way to take the middle route.
Glad that like it forced Terrans to figure out like more macroeconomic games, and like, you know, like force them to like sacrifice their SCVs late game and make a more invincible army, because You know, I can only imagine. Like Juan was saying, he was playing a game yesterday where he had 10 SCVs by the end, and just orbital commands. Like I can only imagine, like with a previous Ghost Snipe, like a maxed army like that would be.
Oh yeah, and that's right. That's the way you actually defeat a lot of those armies. You just have 10 times more stuff than your opponent, just because of that situation. I feel like if you have that many Infestors and Broodlords out in the field, you should have 10 SCVs. You should have also 20 orbital command centers that does all your work for you.
Yeah, and that's great that Turns figured that out, like post-patch. You know, like it hasn't been a long time since Turns have been playing like incredibly greedy, while still being safe. So yeah, well, going back to the Storm Host, I think we can all agree it's a buff for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool buff because it's still a unit that I think is awesome. It's well designed. It's also sort of like a positional unit as well because you don't always have to go for this. Okay, let's break the front with my Swarm Host. You can position a Swarm Host here and there, put in one Swarm Host to harass and expand a little bit. I think it's awesome.
Or even deny expansions.
I think it's a great unit. So I would be really sad to see that unit get into the game, but then not actually seeing it being used a whole lot. So I would love to see Zerg players use it a lot, and yeah, I'm hoping that this is the right way. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's definitely a really offensive unit. I think using it defensively, maybe in ZVZ, but other than that, I don't know if you'll agree with me, Dan, but like I don't like Storm Hosts defensively in CVP or ZVT, just in ZVZ.
I agree. I don't think Storm Hosts really are worth their weight in what they cost if you use them when you're on the defense, because all it takes is one good AoE-centric engagement from your Terran or Protoss opponent, and then you have no defense, and you're wide open to die right there.
Could be good against 2-base Immortal All-ins, and then you have your Infestation Pit. You can go Pathogen.
It is good against, the reason why it's good against, you remember in that game.
Yeah.
Because like if you're going already Infestors, you know, you get your Infestors, and you can get the Storm Host as reinforcements to your army once the All-in starts. It's great.
But the Infestation Pit, you couldn't do that because Pathogen takes so much time. You wouldn't have Infestors out in time. But with Storm Host, 3-base usually, normal standard game. But with Storm Host, you could just make the Infestation Pit and make the unit, and now you have an extra unit that you could use against Immortal Islands. If you're going Zergling Storm Host style, of course. And then once you hold the push, you have your Infestation Pit ready. Just go straight for Infestors. You have a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that Swarm Hosts in ZVZ are great defensively though, and more so like again that they got back to 3 range, because you can actually like late game, you know, if you just mass up Swarm Hosts, you can like put up a fight. Infestor, Swarm Host, Viper, Hydra can actually beat what Wings of Liberty CVZ Ultimate Army would be in you know, Broodlord Infestor, Hydra. Yeah. So it's pretty sick. Swarm Hosts with that range can actually stalemate Broodlords, so that's great.
I would just like to inform our viewers real quick about what's going on. A couple of people are probably wondering, okay, they're talking a lot about Harvest Swarm, but didn't they promise us some show matches as well? Yes, of course, the Root Battle Royale, the Ultimate Root Battle Royale is going to happen. We had a lot of fun already so far, but we did not play any games yet. But tonight, after our regular broadcast, so of course at 6 p.m. NASL Division 4 starts, and as soon as the 3 or 4 best of 3s are done, we're going to play 2 best of 5. So Froden and Gretorp are going to be your host for tonight. They're going to do the regular broadcast. And as soon as those games are done, so that would probably be between 9 and 10 Pacific, then we are going to play the semi-finals of the Ultimate Root Battle Royale. Those games are going to be live. Mr. Bidder and me will cast it. And then tomorrow we're going to have the finals of the Root Battle Royale. We're going to figure out who's going to win $2,000, and more importantly, if you want to watch tomorrow, guys, you have to pick up your subscription pass. Tonight the games are going to be free. Everybody will be able to watch the semi-finals. But if you want to watch it tomorrow, you have to pick up your HD pass.
And that being said, I'm actually going to go prep for CatZ. So thank you guys for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Andre.
Hopefully in the future.
Yeah,
in the future.
For sure.
Bye, Andre. I love you.
So, yeah, I think let's go really quick into bug fixes, and then for the next 15 minutes, or the final 15 minutes, we'll take questions from subscribers on the chat channel of NASL, if that sounds good with everyone.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Awesome, CatZ.
You're awesome.
Almost as awesome as your shirt.
Thank you.
Where did you find it?
It's a pretty
I
awesome
can't
shirt.
remember, man.
I want to have it. I can get, like, because my producer is always telling me to suit up, and I think that qualifies as suiting up.
Just a tattoo of that, yeah.
Yeah, show up topless, like Prison Break style. Oh, man, that would be awesome. All right, CatZ, go ahead.
Bug fixes. Battle Helms can no longer load into bunkers.
Sounds legit.
Sounds legit. You know, someone said that would be ridiculous, but it's just like fire beds and bunkers. I think it would be kind of cool, but
No,
at the same time, you know, battle
point.
hellions
It's
have
like-
so
it's like-
much HP already.
One
It
battle
doesn't
hellion is
sound
like
right.
3 fire bats.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right.
Because
It's
of
not.
the arc
let's
of the
go-
splash.
Let's go drive a big Jeep into a bunker. No.
Yeah, like
Are
normally the
those-
bunker is full with 4 Marines, and now you can put in 4 Jeeps. It's like,
Yeah.
what kind of bunker
That's-
is that?
Are
Some
ghosts
crazy
biological
bunker, man.
too? Yeah, they are, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Ghosts?
yep.
Yeah.
The splash damage from the Widow Mines will no longer hit friendly activated Widow Mines. Good. The Stargate command card now properly includes a set rally point button. I don't know. Does that do anything?
Whatever.
I have no idea what
And
that
now storm hosts have proper collision while burrowed. I'm not sure what that means either. I never found much of a problem while burrowing.
They're
Can you burrow them
It
on
would,
top of each
well,
other?
it would push your unit up.
You can make like an
sometimes,
Eiffel
right?
No,
Tower.
it's-
Dude, you could do that with lurkers,
I think
right?
what it was I've had it a few times where you have like maybe 10 or 15 swarm hosts if you make a lot of them, and you just tell them all to burrow. But if their burrow like radius that they go in is a little bit bigger than their actual unit box itself. So when they burrow, if there's like 4 of them that burrows, or like 5 of them that burrow around a center one, they all burrow, and the one that's kind of in the middle can't really burrow in that location anymore since the other ones are too fat, and he just
You're
kind of
fat.
stands there. You're fat.
Wow.
That's what you said.
Wow.
But the other one will just like kind of stand there, and you have to actually move it to the side to retell it to burrow again. So that was kind of annoying sometimes.
All right.
Okay.
I'm good.
So, Alex, we good?
Yeah, we're good, man.
All right. Let's take subscriber questions right now. So, guys, if you want to ask questions, go in the chat channel. And if you're a subscriber, you have a little star next to your name. Go ahead and ask them, and we'll try and answer them. You can direct questions at any one of us, or just a more general question, perhaps, for all of us to answer.
No questions.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much for watching. And
Okay, well, this one is a question to all of us. Underscore with a lot of underscores behind his name. Just ask us, do you guys miss the Warhound?
I miss that Terran doesn't allow diversity. Not
yeah,
the
I
unit
think
itself.
that's a proper way to say it.
Yeah.
I miss it for Terrans. I mean, I don't play Terrans, so I don't really miss it. But I wish it was back. Yeah.
I would say the more the merrier. Goes for units too. So
Yeah.
I would have loved to see it in the game, even though it was a bit too strong. But there are always ways to fix that, and I just thought it's cool. The more units you give to a race, the more different strategies you're going to see, the more exciting the game is going to become, not only to play, but also for the people at home, because there's going to be more of a...
And the more it's going to change. I mean, it's an expansion. And right now, CVT is basically Wings of Liberty, right? There's not much. Maybe mines here and there once in a while, and maybe Vipers in the late game once in a while, but...
The Warhound was kind of unique, though. It was like the only unit that you could make where it was like the Terran was making only Heart of the Storm units because it was only Warhounds.
Yeah,
You'd have an army of like 40 Warhounds and it was covering the entire screen, and you can't kill it ever unless you have air, obviously.
The best was when you played against the Terran and like you had a lot of trouble dealing with Warhound only. You had like everything, Colossus, Immortals, Stalkers, good upgrades, and then he's like, wow, you're so lame, you're only making Wings of Liberty units. It's just like, yeah, no.
Yeah. That was funny.
I think Terran is going through the exact same thing Protoss was going through before they got the Oracle buff with Face Shield. Their unit composition is like almost Wings of Liberty-esque, so they need to diversify it much more, I think.
All right.
Who did Massa play in a show match? Heart of the Storm. Oh, Dignity's Killer. Yeah. Killer was making Vipers and he was making Storm Hosts. And Massa wasn't, like, they removed the Warhound, so...
He's playing Wings of Liberty, basically?
Yeah, he 4-1'd them with Wings of Liberty units. He made a mind here or there, but Killer was like,
all right,
nice, we can play Wings of Liberty next time. Massa was like, what am I supposed to do?
We got lots of questions, so let's just try to make as many people happy as possible. First, CatZ, I want to ask you this question. So, guys, now that Rotti is en route, are you guys thinking about sending him to compete in any major tournaments / online clan leagues?
Roddy really wants to play against Slayers, so no, not really. We'll see.
I have to mind my language right now. That's bad. Like, I already had the standard response already, but then I realized we have to keep this nice and.
Survive. Can you please ask him if he's gonna win WCS China for us?
I'm gonna try. I mean, yes, I am. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna win. No problem.
Yeah.
Oh, root for
Vibe.
Root for
But
Vibe.
I might.
Vibe, let's make some crazy promise right now. If you take home the WCS Grand Finals, what can we?
The bike?
I know. Yeah, well, if you want to buy one, you can do that. I want to hear you say something crazy right now. Like, if I win that tournament, I'll do this.
I know.
Like, I'll buy everyone
okay.
en route a bike.
No, that's a little too much.
Well, imagine if we go to
I'll
like
buy you guys bicycles.
Okay.
Like $50 each.
But like custom made.
How awesome would it be if we
Put
all
your
have
name on
like
them in marker.
Okay.
No, but no, I actually if I won the entire tournament, which is 100 grand for first, I already said I would take 5,000 of that, which obviously isn't a ton of the percentage of that, but I would take 5,000, and I would, because I'm going to IPL in Vegas like a week after, I think, or 2 weeks after, and I'd put 5,000 down on roulette and just let it go.
You're like charitable.
that would be a good spin,
I was
man.
expecting him to say Doctors Without Borders or something like that.
No.
I know it's not a lot, but I'd like to help out now. Roulette.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Okay, well, we'll say I'll do on roulette, and if I win, I'll cut it in half, and I'll do the winnings to something. You know?
Okay.
Root for root.
Root for root. We're not cheap. Do you know any pro players that are going to change races once Heart of the Storm comes out? I know Morrow is considering switching back to Terran. I don't know if anyone else.
No, I can't think of anyone.
Or he was before the Warhound got removed. Anyone want to take any questions, Roddy? You should
maybe Axeltoss, because Axel, you're kind of silent, man.
Yeah,
I know the view is beautiful out there
hard,
in New
man.
York.
I mean, I'm not over there, so it's a little bit
Yeah,
hard.
it's really hard
talk
sitting
over
there
us.
in New York. Look at you with your tough life, Axeltoss.
it's a little tough.
I'm sure you can pick something.
I have to pick a question.
Yes.
All right. From let's see here. What do you think? No, I don't like the question. With Heart of the Swarm, do you feel a lot of early game all-ins are even less viable than they are now, since it looks like Blizzard is wanting a more macro-based game? From Big Richie 2004.
Guys?
Should I answer it?
Oh, yeah, you
Go
can
ahead,
answer it
Alex.
as well.
Yeah.
I think a big thing that Heart of the Swarm is really trying to accomplish is unit diversity and uniqueness of games. Because right now in Wings of Liberty, we're seeing a lot of the same type of stuff in a lot of different matchups. And I think like, is that a macro game? Does a macro game mean like a more exciting game, more entertaining game, more diverse game? Perhaps. So yeah, I think Blizzard is definitely wanting games to go longer so they're more exciting and more exciting unit compositions, more exciting battles and whatnot.
Alrighty, CatZ. You're El Capitan, pick the questions.
Oh, jeez.
You're in charge of this, man.
Would you choose one night with Lauren or 6 months in Bermuda with Rotterdam? Vibe.
I don't know. It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
Rotterdam.
Can I do
easy.
both?
Of course, Roddy, man.
Wait,
You can do
Rotterdam.
half a
wait,
night,
wait,
you
wait,
can
wait,
do
wait.
half a
Rotterdam is
night
single, right? That's
and
the
3
only
months.
reason.
Yeah. Let's not be picky here. I'll do
Yeah.
that. Half a night in 3 months. I'll
Okay.
just take half of both.
I mean, you probably just need like
you might as well just make it
keep going
30
with that
minutes
statement.
and 5 months and 2
my
weeks.
time frame.
Okay.
Give me my time frame.
That's not.
Vibe is like, I'll take 15 minutes.
Axel picked
5.5 months.
Axel picked me.
Absolutely.
I love it.
All right. Let's see what else.
Need some good questions, guys.
What do you think you could change in Heart of the Storm to make the game more accessible to the public? Let's get that viewership up. I think that they need to start
Free to play.
start balancing by buffing rather than nerfing, because I think the stronger the units are, the more game breaking the units are. Units or abilities like the Vortex can be extremely exciting for casting, for viewers, even for players. You know, it's like there's some mothership and it could Vortex your army and you're nervous because of that. So I think the stronger the units, the better, and if we can find a balance like that, that would be great. I think that's how Brood War worked a little bit more than StarCraft, and I think in StarCraft 2 we've always nerfed instead of buffed to balance. So I think that would be one way. Anyone else? That question?
Just like I think they should just focus on things outside the game. More like what's it called? There's
Dota
a few
2?
there's a few mobile games that have a lot of accessibilities. Like I think you can watch it while you're online. There's a lot of stuff. I think
That's actually a really cool
Yeah,
feature.
yeah,
how you
yeah.
can just log in and
That's
you have like a
so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they fixed BattleNet a little bit, that would be more
That would actually involve so many more people if that was like that.
You know, even like clans, teams.
We spoke about that, automated tournaments. I mean, we all absolutely love Blizzard and we love the games that they produce, but
absolutely.
So like Battle.net 2.0, not even necessarily for us, even though we would love it as well, but for just the community out there who plays the game casually from time to time, you can make it a much more social experience than it is right now. And if you have clan tags with clan channels, if you have automated tournaments, it's just so much easier to just hang around, to log in.
I mean, we can't even watch replays together.
Back in Battle.net 1, back in Battle.net, you know, I could go on Battle.net and not play a game for 3 hours and still, you know, be doing something that I would enjoy, like talking to people in a chat channel or like seeing like who's online on you know Clan X17 or something.
Just add all the Warcraft 3 features that was from Battle.net, and then add in the StarCraft Brood War replay feature where everyone could watch replay together.
Yeah. That helps so much.
And there you go.
And then you have perfect. Everybody's happy. Players are happy. Community is happy. And Blizzard already did it once, so they should be able to do it again. I actually kind of like this question, so I'm going to address it. A question for Axeltoss and myself: is there any casting tools that you would like to see in the Heart of the Swarm that's not currently in the beta? Oops, bad grammar. Well, I did get your point. Is there anything, Axel, that you would really love to see in the Heart of the Swarm observer mode that we don't have in Wings of Liberty as observers/commentators?
What's actually really cool in League of Legends, and don't hate me for saying something that's cool about League of Legends, but they have like there's an automatic system where there's like it's a computer observing. So like you don't have to observe, you just watch the screen. And the AI decides what you watch. And like, I don't know what the formula is, but that seems really freaking cool.
Yes, I would agree with it in general, but yeah, no, I mean it's a solid point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but legal like mobile games, like there's there's.
I know if it's
a few
possible
places that
to
action could be
optimize what you
happening
see. Obviously, like I wouldn't want it if it missed something, but if there's a way to optimize that and make it so you miss nothing, and
what I would personally love regarding cameras is just a simple option for observers to scroll out a little bit further, make the battlefield bigger, so we can show more to the people. I think that would be awesome. And last but not least, a simple thing like the observer client is really perfect. Blizzard has done a really good job at showing us all the statistics. Just one simple thing, guys, give us scoreboards. Let us like put a score between the two player names, that if we load up the player names, and if we are playing a best of 5, that tournament organizers don't always have to design stuff themselves and come up with weird creations, because you basically still use part of the Blizzard overlay, but then everybody has to create their own overlay because we want to have a scoreboard in it, because if people just tune in. So I would say just give us an option to add a scoreboard as an observer mode when we're streaming some games, and then I think it would be perfect.
I do have to agree with you. I think the biggest improvement that Blizzard had from Battle.net 1 to 2 is the observing mode.
No doubt.
It's fantastic. And yeah, the zoom out would be great. You can actually zoom out on some custom maps. Yeah. But Ben actually asked me like what I thought of it. And the big problem is like they could make it so that
the players can do it too.
Yeah. The problem is that the players would be able to do it as well, not just the observers. So I'm sure Blizzard can work something on their end. Perhaps talk a little bit more with leagues like NASL, MLG, IPL, DreamHack, and work something out and see what's gonna make the experience for everyone else more enjoyable.
TT1, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke or Pepsi? Coke.
But Pepsi products are pretty good though. But I would have to say Coke. Yeah. Out of those two.
Axel,
what's up?
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
NAS or Monster?
NAS, of course.
Okay. Yeah. What about team decals like in game like Dota 2? I mean, that would come. I think would be a feature with the teams. They did say, and let's kind of try to hold them accountable for saying that there was going to be a team option in Heart of the Swarm. Let's just hope that they stick to that. They at first they were like, maybe we'll bring it later in Wings of Liberty, and then it was like, Heart of the Swarm for sure. And let's hope that they actually stick to that, because that would be great.
I want to see integrated tournaments in Battle.net.
Yeah, like Warcraft 3, like the daily ones.
It was awesome.
And it was they even mixed it up too, just for fun. Like it wasn't just one-on-one. It was always like Tuesdays are 2v2s, Wednesdays are 3v3s, and then every once in a while it would be like it's a 3v3, or I don't know if it was the team ones were like this, but it would be like human only.
Too, right?
Yeah, but they never gave out anything. But what I would also like to add for people who are unfamiliar with what Warcraft 3 Battle.net had, they had those automated tournaments, and the best thing ever was that like you could look the bracket up online, and automatically the replays got uploaded. So you could always watch your two favorite players. Like if you, for instance, see a game, you're like, oh wow, I could actually just download this replay, and that is so cool. And it's an awesome way for new people to make their splash on the scene as well, because community will always watch those automated tournaments. Certainly, if you can win some fancy icons or whatnot.
And it would be even cooler too if, like, in Warcraft 3, it was definitely a cool idea, but there wasn't much like behind it. It was just like for fun, basically. Because I remember the first tournament I ever actually like really played in, and one of them I ended up winning was in the Warcraft 3. It was like a 1-on-1 tournament and then a 2-on-2 tournament. And I remember it was like, that was back when I was in school, and I stayed up like until 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning playing it. And then when I won, I was like, oh man, I wonder when I get home tomorrow, everyone's gonna be like, oh, you won the tournament? Good job, man. Exactly. And then when I got home, only like my friends knew, and no one, like, it wasn't really as, like, no one really cared, basically. It was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But
I guess you wanted to late then, because when they just started with it, it was a pretty big deal. Like, when it just started, pretty much all the top European pros were playing it. I remember I played one of those 1-on-1 tournaments, and I made it like past the group stage. It was all automatic, and I just went 7-0, so I went into the round of 16, I think. And I won that one. Then in the quarterfinal, I played against a guy called SK Dominator. Like, really not, like, if you look past the lifespan of Warcraft 3, not a super big shot. But on that moment, he was on SK, and I was so nervous. I felt like, this is my moment. This is my moment of glory. I'm going to have to do this. And I lost, but I still felt really proud. And a couple of my Battle.net friends, they're like, wow, man, I saw you make top 8 in the tournament. I was like,
because that's pretty much what happened. Like, the people that were on my friends list and stuff, they were all like, oh man, you're in the playoff bracket. Oh, you're doing so well. You're winning. And the next day, some of them went to bed before I finished, and they found out that I won, and they were like congratulating me. But I thought, like, the way kind of like StarCraft 2 is with like big announcements with like tournament results and stuff. That's really awesome, because like everyone gets to see like, oh, this guy or blah 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 won. I had an exact experience of that, because I didn't even know they posted my picture on there with the WCS victory until my brother told me he got on Battle.net and he saw my picture on there, and I was like, all right, let me go check it out. And it was actually pretty cool. So
yeah, just like one final thing, to make those automated tournaments maybe a little bit more precision. It doesn't even necessarily have to be money. If there's just like a small box in the right top side, like yesterday's 1v1 tournament got won by an entire Battle.net, everybody who logs in will see that name there. I can guarantee you that a lot of pros are going to play it, because hey, it's pretty sexy if everybody who wants to play a StarCraft 2 game is going to see your name on the right top side, you know?
Cool.
That's
well, I mean,
awesome.
if someone wants to make $1,000 tournament, then have it so they can actually use the integrated Blizzard software, whatever that would be. And
I can't wait for that. I think it would be awesome for everybody, for players, for community.
Definitely.
Just hope it happens.
So yeah, I guess you guys want to do shout-outs?
You can start.
Yes.
What?
If
I'll just do
we're to do shout-outs, you can start.
Yeah, I guess Roddy, you do shout-outs.
Well, I'll do last, because I'm going to close down the show.
Fine. Yeah, Roddy's probably going to be back later. We might. Oh, we'll be back later too. Yes. We'll be playing later. So shout out to NASL for letting us do this here, and yeah, to continue to tune in. We got some great games coming up, and later on we have the Root Battle Royale in Heart of the Storm. So look forward to that as well. Yeah, if you enjoyed decision making, please.
No, just that you don't forget him.
Please tune in. To Axeltoss is always our host, actually. Good luck at MLG, Alex. So we'll get to you in a second. But yeah, please tune in the upcoming weeks. We are always talking about new changes in Heart of the Storm and how the game is progressing. We'll have different guests all the time, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And tune in. Please buy Root shirts as well. They're pretty sick.
They also protect you against paintball bullets. I tried it this morning, guys. It's like wearing an armor, man.
Yeah, please head out to root-gaming.com and buy our shirts made by Rash Order Tees. And yeah, thanks for having us again.
Payam, any famous last words?
Shout out to Axel. Congratulations on the new gig with MLG. Shout out to NASL for allowing us to do this show. And yeah, shout out to our sponsors, Rush Ortiz and Twitch TV.
Dan?
Just like always, anyone who supports esports, thank you guys for supporting it, because it's definitely still pretty much in its infancy, and it needs to grow a lot more for it to be globalized and like a true thing. I want it to be in the Olympics in 2016. That'd be sweet, man. But it would be pretty cool. But just thanks to everyone who supports esports. Thanks to friends, family, my teammates, Axeltoss as well. And I'll reiterate to NASL as well. Thanks a lot for having us out here. This event has actually been pretty cool. And this is probably the most luxurious event I've ever been to. So
agreed.
Okay,
it's not probably. It definitely is the most luxurious event I've been to. So thanks to that.
Awesome to hear that, Dan. Axel, of course, thanks a lot for joining on the show. Even though you were not in charge as you normally are, I still hope you enjoyed it.
You did great, ROOTerdam. It was fantastic. I don't know how I can follow up Vibes. Shout out, that was awesome. But yeah, just extra emphasis to NASL. Thank you so much for bringing all the Root guys out there, and thanks for having me on the show and letting us use your studio to have the Root decision making. It's been a lot of fun, and of course, if you guys want to check out MLG versus Pro League, it's been pretty fun. All the Pro League guys against all the MLG top pros. It's been pretty exciting. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying it. I've been casting alongside Axeltoss. Of course, next broadcast is Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully, NASL doesn't cut me off or anything. But of course, go check out NASL too, because they're pretty darn awesome.
Not at all, bro, because just as you, we love StarCraft. And yes, actually, we have been watching. You've been doing a really great job. I bought a pass. Also gave a big shout out to Axeltoss, because he's been doing a really great job as well. So keep up the good work, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So guys, we're going to take a small commercial break, or actually we're going to be basically off the air for around 30 minutes, but please don't go anywhere, or well, you can take a small break. At 6 p.m., of course, we're going to start with our regular Saturday broadcast, so that means Division 4 with Andre and Gretorp, and right after that, so it's going to be a long night of StarCraft. We woke up at 10 to do lots of fun stuff. We're going to show you guys cool videos later on, but from 6 to, let's say, 9 to 10 is going to be the regular broadcast from Division 4, and straight after that, we're going to do both semifinals of the Ultimate Root Battle Royale Sunday Showdown, a $4,000 Heart of the Swarm tournament. I'm really excited, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you soon. Bam. So peace out. We'll be back in roughly 30 minutes, and make sure to don't go anywhere, and please let everybody know about the Root Battle Royale tonight, because I think we're going to see some sick stuff, and we'll see if Rico got nerfed or buffed at the end of the night. See you guys.
Thanks for watching.
Round and round, I wanna choke.